I would like to begin this video with the following indisputable truth. Unless you have, as I most definitely have, lived around mental illness, as in somebody you loved, cared about deeply, whatever, somebody you were with on a day-to-day basis, for, you cannot possibly imagine what it's like, okay? That's just indisputable. So, we already know, if you know me at all, that I have been dealing with my mother's schizophrenia for my majority of my life, since I was 10 going on 11, okay? But we're not going to go back that far. We're going to go back to when I graduated from FSU with honors and moved in with my mom and her indisputably crazy ass husband. See, to understand me at all, to understand where I'm coming from at all, you have to understand that someone like me with the kind of mind I have, maybe somebody less intelligent, less deep, whatever, wouldn't be affected, but I have been deeply affected by my mother's mental illness, and, I've been around, her mental illness, and then she married this crazy man, and I was around his mental illness for an entire year, okay? At least a year. It might have been a little longer. But whatever. I used to say, I can't ever escape it, can I? And I'm dealing with my own problems, my own mental illness that thankfully has never escalated to the point like my mom's has repeatedly, where I would be, have to go through what she's gone through repeatedly, unfortunately, sadly, being sectioned placed involuntarily into various mental hospitals, So she married the crazy man, and I had no idea what I was getting into. And I know he had to have been doing this stuff once she was living with him. It didn't just start when I moved in. It's just I wound up, being on the blunt end, whatever. I'm having it happen to me too. So, in dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. Here's what this man would do. Well, for one thing, he would steal our, and you're going to laugh about it, because if you haven't lived, it wasn't funny when I was going through it. It's funny in retrospect, because lots of things are funny in retrospect, He would mail our things to people in the family. In other words, let's say Laura bought, or her mom bought an expensive soap from Clinique or whatnot, okay? Suddenly it would go missing. It would go missing, couldn't find it anywhere. Then you'd go visit, say, the aunt who has cancer now, who didn't have cancer 20 years ago, obviously, and she would have received my soap or my mom's soap in the mail. He would steal our stuff and mail it to people that we knew, our family members. Not funny at the time, okay? Funny now, because it's just ridiculous. It's just absurd, isn't it? It's absurd. I swear to God, I couldn't make this stuff up. Another thing he would do, he would constantly pee himself, so whenever he would drive, talk about driving, I've told you guys, I don't want my mom driving. When she was sick, driving with her nearly killed us 10 times. We're going on the back roads to head off to blah, X, Y, and Z, her friend's house, whatever. It says, curve ahead, slow down to 20, because it's open road, and you can go 50, whatever. She'd didn't slow down at all. We went around that curve at 50 miles an hour. So many times I could have died. That's how I live my life, you know? Because not just things I've done. I mean, I think, what's the point? Look at that guy tonight. He's going to walk across the Grand Canyon on a tightrope. Can you imagine living your life like that, where you just walk across the Grand Canyon? One wrong move and he's dead. That's how he wants to live. It gives him his purpose in life, I guess. I've had so many things against my will that could have killed me or hurt me or whatever, you know, driving with the alcoholic abuser. And I was a smart little kid. I knew I shouldn't be, you know what I mean? That I go on to just do things on my own that could lead to my death or worse. Unfortunately, you might not die. You might get raped, or, you know, you might wind up, you know, permanently just paralyzed. But whatever. I had to drive with him. He was a horrible driver, and he peed himself, so the car reeked of piss. And remember, he had gotten me that car, him and my mom together. It wasn't a junk box. I mean, it was just, you know, it was an old, big car. It cost them $1,000. It was old, but it served its purpose for that year that I was there. I was able to get to work, which is a half-hour away, to work where I was a waitress at Friendly's, in several towns over. But I do remember at one point, maybe it was when my car wasn't working, that I drove his car. And it reeked of piss. Okay? Not fun. So my stuff's being mailed to people, left and right. I have to deal with him, and he talks crazy, and he even accidentally walked around completely naked at one point. He one time said something. He thought I was beautiful, of course. He one time said, you know, and he would say stuff to, like, my mom, you know, crazy, because he's cuckoo, like, Larry doesn't believe in God, why should I? But he was raised a Catholic, you know, and then he's like, and then he would say to me, you know, look at you, like, you're not, it's a shame, you're not going to have kids, you're designed to have kids, you know, and things, shit like that. Cuckoo. You know, but you have to understand, when you have my kind of mind, that's deeply, keenly intelligent, creative, thoughtful, aware, deep, think. Mental illness that you see in others is going to spark so much inside of you, not just consciously, but subconsciously. Because you think, since it's hereditary, it can happen to you. You feel it in your veins anyway. You struggle 24/7, every waking moment, to not give in to it, okay? And yes, I get sicker. Of course I get sicker the more stress I'm under. I'm on a lot of stress right now. I freaked out the other day because I needed to go on my 4.6 mile power walk. I couldn't, because the place is a shithole. I have to clean it sooner rather than later, like today, as soon as I take a nap. So I only slept 2 to 6:30 last night, 2 a.m. to 6, okay? Couldn't find my new headphones. JVC kind of go over my head, that I only bought. And I was upset at Best Buy too, because I had to get back, and I was going to miss the public transportation I was getting and taking, and the stupid headphones. I bought the earbud ones, Sony, tried them for the first time, and their packaging was wrong. They didn't have the right little things to put on inside, and they wanted my license to return them, because I'm like, I'm just going to return these and get something else. And okay, I'm like, I can't find my license in my pocket, you know, get frazzled. Couldn't find my headphones the other day. Wanted to go for my 4.6 mile power walk. You have to understand, the more stressed I get, the sicker I get, okay? I even burnt myself, I don't know if you can see it, but I burnt myself on the light bulb in the living room because I couldn't find my headphones, and I was panicking because there are certain things that I need, and one of them is my fucking classic alternative music blasting in my ears while I'm out exercising like a mad woman, okay? That's what I need. Oh, that's a fucking bite on my leg, isn't it? It's itchy. But anyway, of course, being around mental illness for my entire life, practically, you know, and being around abusive alcoholics, you know, of course this is all going to affect me. If you think it's not going to affect me, then you're crazier than people want to make me out to be. My life is a complete antithesis of the daughters of my beloved aunt who's dying of cancer now. You know, they're normal. Normal ups, normal downs, married, kids, carpools, church, Christians or not, or what, normal. They had a normal upbringing. I had not just an abnormal upbringing, because the first woman I slept with, all I did was show her. This was when I was 20-something, 23, 20, whatever, 25. But all I did was show her that essay that I've written about my mom's mental illness. It said nothing about the hell with the abusive alcoholic, or being teased and beat up, bullied when I was a kid, or going on to 4 years of high school hell with my father, who I thought was going to make things better after I'd suffered so horribly for the first 13 years of my life. It said nothing about that, just my mental illness. She looked right at me and she goes, geez, Laura, she's like, I always thought I had a bad childhood. She's like, the world needs to know what you went through. See? There's always somebody worse off, All I'm saying is that somebody like my cousins just couldn't have a clue. They don't have a clue. And that's fine and good. I wouldn't have wished my childhood or my life or anything on them. All I want is a little compassion and understanding, and I don't get it. Capiche? Okay. Anyway, on to Crazy Man. They couldn't even imagine this, let alone all the things I've been through with my mom, okay? Crazy Man. Alright. I can deal with him stealing my stuff and mailing it because, I'm living there for free and I have nowhere to go. I can deal with him talking crazy shit to me. I can deal with going in his car as little, as infrequently as I possibly can get away with. When did I have to go with them? Well, when we were going out to eat. He was taking us out to eat. I had to go in the car. It reeked of piss. And he was a horrible driver. He didn't drive too fast. He drove too slow. He barely moved, and people were upset. They were around us. Something bad that he was doing was he would leave in the middle of the night. My mom's friend, who was her housekeeper, who had actually introduced them, because she thought my mom's lonely and, mentally ill needs mentally ill. But like I said, my mom keeps, her craziness didn't even approach this man's craziness, okay? She believed he was hurting his animals. And I did see him one time doing that. Not hurting them, but I think he picked at the